The Bible paints a hauntingly captivating portrait of Lucifer, a being once bathed in divine glory, whose story is both awe-inspiring and deeply tragic. Once revered as one of heaven's most exalted beings, Lucifer possessed extraordinary powers and held a position of unmatched honor among the angels. But what could drive such a magnificent being, adorned with divine glory, to rebel against the very God who created him? In this exploration, we delve into the 9 astonishing abilities bestowed upon Lucifer before his fall, powers that reveal not only his unparalleled brilliance, but also the mystery of his ultimate betrayal. Prepare to uncover the secrets of a being whose story continues to echo through eternity. 9. Position of high authority. Lucifer, known later as Satan, held an extraordinarily high position in heaven before his rebellion against God. According to the Bible, particularly in passages like Isaiah 14 verses 12 to 15 and Ezekiel 28 verses 12 to 17, Lucifer's status was unparalleled among the angels. He is described as a guardian cherub, a title signifying immense honor, responsibility, and trust bestowed upon him by God. This role placed him in a position of leadership, where he was not only close to God but also tasked with protecting sacred spaces and ensuring harmony in heaven. His name, Lucifer, meaning light-bearer or morning star, reflects his brilliance and exceptional nature. Isaiah 14 verse 12 highlights this, referring to him as the son of the dawn, underscoring his radiance and significance. Ezekiel 28 verse 14 provides further insight into his duties, describing him as an anointed cherub who moved among the stones of fire, a phrase symbolizing proximity to God's holy presence. Lucifer's responsibilities extended to leading and guiding other angels, maintaining the divine order, and being a vessel of God's glory. His rebellion was not just an act of defiance, but a profound betrayal of the trust and honor God had bestowed upon him. This tragic fall from grace underscores the dangers of pride and the misuse of authority, transforming Lucifer from a guardian of God's glory into an adversary against the divine. 8. Beauty and perfection. Lucifer's creation as a being of unparalleled beauty and perfection sets him apart as one of God's most magnificent works. Ezekiel 28 verse 12 describes him as the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty, emphasizing his flawless nature and the extraordinary care God took in crafting him. This title, Seal of Perfection, suggests that Lucifer was the ultimate example of divine artistry, a masterpiece that embodied the pinnacle of God's creative power. His beauty was not merely skin deep. It symbolized the purity and holiness that defined his original nature. Lucifer's physical appearance radiated a splendor that inspired awe among the heavenly host. Adorned with precious stones and gems, as described in Ezekiel 28 verse 13, his presence reflected the brilliance of divine glory. His perfection extended beyond his appearance to his character and abilities, making him a figure of admiration and reverence among the angels. This extraordinary beauty, however, became both a blessing and a curse. The admiration and respect he garnered began to inflate his sense of self-worth. Instead of directing the glory back to God, as he was created to do, Lucifer began to take pride in his own attributes. His beauty, meant to reflect God's magnificence, became a source of self-exaltation. The shift from humility to pride marked the beginning of his rebellion. Ezekiel 28 verse 17 explicitly states that his heart became proud because of his beauty, and he corrupted his wisdom for the sake of his splendor. This tragic irony, where the very qualities designed to glorify God became tools for self-destruction, highlights the profound consequences of misusing divine gifts. Lucifer's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of vanity and the importance of humility in recognizing that all gifts and talents ultimately come from God. 7. Wisdom. Among the many extraordinary gifts Lucifer possessed, his immense wisdom stands out as one of the most remarkable. Ezekiel 28 verse 12 refers to him as full of wisdom, underscoring his intellectual and spiritual prowess. This wisdom was not limited to knowledge of facts, but encompassed deep understanding, insight, and discernment, enabling him to grasp the intricate mysteries of God's creation. Lucifer's wisdom allowed him to comprehend the complex workings of the heavenly realm, including the laws and principles that govern the divine order. He was a trusted figure among the angels, whose guidance and advice were highly valued. His intellect made him uniquely suited to his role as a guardian cherub, where he was responsible for maintaining harmony and order in heaven. Lucifer's wisdom also extended to spiritual insight, enabling him to perceive the divine truths that underpinned the physical and spiritual realms. This spiritual understanding gave him the ability to lead effectively and align his actions with God's will. at least in the beginning. His wisdom was practical, allowing him to make decisions that supported the greater good of heaven and reflected God's divine plan. However, as with his beauty, Lucifer's wisdom eventually became a source of pride. Over time, he began to view his intelligence as a mark of superiority rather than a gift to serve others. This self-deception led him to believe that he was capable of rivaling God himself. Instead of using his wisdom to glorify God and maintain the divine order, Lucifer used it to justify his rebellion. He convinced himself, and later a third of the angels, that he was entitled to a higher status. This arrogance and misuse of his intellectual gifts ultimately led to his downfall. His story serves as a stark reminder that even the greatest talents can lead to ruin when they are not used in humility and service to their intended purpose. 6. Musical abilities. One of the most fascinating aspects of Lucifer's original role in heaven was his profound connection to music and worship. The Bible, particularly in Ezekiel 28 verse 13, mentions that he was adorned with timbrels and pipes, which are musical instruments, suggesting that music was an intrinsic part of his being. This imagery paints Lucifer as a figure deeply associated with harmony, melody, and the expression of divine worship. His musical abilities were not merely a talent but a fundamental aspect of his identity, designed to glorify God and lead the heavenly choir in adoration. As a leader of worship, Lucifer played a central role in uniting the angelic host in songs of praise. Music, in the biblical context, often symbolizes beauty, order, and a profound connection to the divine. Lucifer's role in music elevated his status, making him a key figure in expressing the glory of God through harmonious sound. His music likely resonated throughout heaven, inspiring awe and reverence for the Creator. However, this unique gift, like his other attributes, became a source of pride. Over time, Lucifer began to view his musical talents as a reflection of his own greatness rather than a tool to glorify God. The admiration and respect he received for his abilities fed his growing arrogance, leading him to desire worship for himself. Instead of directing praise to God, he sought to elevate his own status, seeing his gifts as evidence of his superiority. This misuse of his musical talents marks a tragic turning point in his story. The very gifts that were intended to reflect divine glory became instruments of rebellion, symbolizing his shift from humility to self-exaltation. Lucifer's fall serves as a reminder of the responsibility that comes with extraordinary talents and the importance of using them for their intended purpose. 5. Radiant light. Lucifer's name, meaning light-bearer or morning star, reflects his unique relationship with light and brilliance, both literally and symbolically. In his original state, Lucifer was a radiant being, created to shine with the glory of God. This radiance was not merely physical but also a representation of his spiritual purity, holiness, and the divine favor he enjoyed. His very presence illuminated the heavenly realm, serving as a testament to God's creative power and majesty. Light in the Bible often symbolizes truth, holiness, and the presence of God, and as the light-bearer, Lucifer was a vessel through which divine light was reflected. His brilliance served as a constant reminder of God's glory, inspiring worship and adoration among the angels. Lucifer's role as a bearer of light was central to his identity and purpose, making his eventual fall into darkness all the more tragic. His transformation from a being of light to one associated with darkness and deceit harnesses the profound consequences of his rebellion. This shift is not just a loss of his physical brilliance, but also a reflection of the moral and spiritual corruption that resulted from his pride. Once a shining symbol of God's glory, Lucifer became a figure of darkness, lies, and separation from divine truth. The contrast between his original purpose and his fallen state highlights the gravity of his sin and the devastating impact of pride. Lucifer's story illustrates the delicate balance between using gifts to glorify God and the temptation to misuse them for self-promotion. His fall serves as a warning about the dangers of turning away from the light of God and the inevitable consequences of embracing darkness. 4. Presence in the Garden of Eden. Lucifer's presence in the Garden of Eden, as described in Ezekiel 28 verse 13, highlights his significance in God's creation before his fall. The Garden of Eden was a place of perfection and beauty, representing the harmony and splendor of God's design. Lucifer's role in the garden underscores his high status and importance in the divine plan. Adorned with precious stones and gems, as detailed in Ezekiel, Lucifer's appearance was majestic, reflecting his exalted position. His presence in the garden symbolized his role as a guardian and caretaker, entrusted with responsibilities that required wisdom, beauty, and authority. However, his intimate knowledge of the garden also played a role in his later rebellion. This familiarity allowed him to manipulate and deceive Adam and Eve, leading to humanity's fall. The serpent in Genesis 3 is often associated with Lucifer, further connecting his presence in Eden with his transition from a guardian of divine order to an adversary of God. His actions in the garden mark a turning point in his story, showcasing his descent from a being of light and honor to one of deceit and destruction. The contrast between his original role and his later actions highlights the depth of his rebellion and the far-reaching consequences of his pride. Lucifer's story in Eden serves as a reminder of the devastating impact of betrayal and the importance of remaining faithful to one's purpose. 3. Access to God's presence. Lucifer's proximity to God was one of his most unique and privileged gifts. Ezekiel 28 verse 14 describes him as moving among the stones of fire, a poetic phrase that symbolizes closeness to God's holy presence. This access was not granted to all angels, making Lucifer's position exceptional and indicative of the immense trust and honor God placed in him. Being near God's presence meant that Lucifer had a first-hand view of divine glory, wisdom, and power. This intimate relationship allowed him to play a key role in the worship and order of heaven, reflecting God's light and serving as an example to other angels. His responsibilities required purity, dedication, and unwavering loyalty, qualities he initially possessed in abundance. However, this closeness also made his rebellion all the more devastating. Lucifer's decision to turn against God was not a simple act of disobedience. It was a betrayal of the trust and relationship he had with the Creator. His fall from this exalted position represents a profound loss, both for himself and for the harmony of heaven. The contrast between his original closeness to God and his eventual separation, the gravity of his rebellion. His story serves as a warning about the dangers of pride and the importance of cherishing and maintaining one's relationship with God. 2. Free will. Lucifer, like all angels, was created with the gift of free will, allowing him to make his own choices rather than being programmed to follow orders. This freedom is a profound aspect of creation, as it enables beings to choose to love and serve God willingly. Lucifer initially used his free will to fulfill his divine purpose, acting as a guardian cherub and leader of worship. However, this gift also came with responsibility, as free will carries the potential for both good and evil. Lucifer's tragic story illustrates the consequences of misusing this freedom. He made a deliberate choice to rebel against God, driven by pride and a desire for power. This decision was not a momentary lapse but a calculated act of defiance, highlighting the dangers of self-exaltation. Lucifer's fall serves as a reminder of the weight of free will and the importance of making choices that align with God's will. His story teaches us that while free will is a precious gift, it comes with the responsibility to use it wisely and the potential for dire consequences when it is misused. 1. Spiritual influence. Lucifer's spiritual influence was one of his most significant and powerful attributes. As a leader among the angels, he was admired and respected, giving him the ability to inspire and guide others. Revelation 12 verse 4 reveals that he persuaded a third of the angels to join his rebellion against God, demonstrating his remarkable charisma and persuasive abilities. Originally, this influence was meant to uphold the divine order, leading the angelic host in worship and service to God. However, Lucifer misused this gift, using his influence to sow discord and rebellion. His ability to lead others astray underscores the dangers of misusing power and authority. The fall of these angels, along with Lucifer, highlights the far-reaching consequences of pride and ambition. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the responsibility that comes with leadership and the importance of using influence for good rather than personal gain. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. May these insights deepen your faith and inspire you to reflect on the greatness of God's power and love. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful biblical teachings. God bless you.